Welcome to Mack-n-Cheeze Music Podcast with your hosts, Brian DeHart.
Hey everybody, welcome back and thanks for listening. We've got a great show for you today. Today's guest is Todd Ainsworth, co-founder of the Seattle country band Hartwood. One of Todd's benchmarks is integrating comedy and music.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
That's right, Bruno. Hartwood's take on comedy is completely left field.
Yeah.
I am completely out of the league when it comes to creating comedic lyrics.
Donnie, you're out of your element.
You can say that again. Todd has some incredible insights. And Hartwood's music can be labeled controversial. All right, let's get going.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So you are local president of ASA?
Not president of ASA. I'm on the executive board of the Automotive Service Association of Washington. I'm on the executive board. I used to be the president of the local chapter for King and Snohomish counties, but now I am past president for the chapter.
All right. And so you own an automotive repair shop as well?
I do. I co-own an automotive repair shop in West Seattle. Can I plug the name for it here?
Yeah, of course.
Swedish Automotive.
Oh, I know where that is, man. That's been there for years.
It's been there for years. Swedish Automotive. We do European and Subaru repairs primarily.
Right there in California.
On 35th.
35th, okay.
35th, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess it's been a while since I lived there. Awesome. So, hey, everybody, Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze here. My guest tonight is Todd Ainsworth, a.k.a. Merle Hartwood, one of the founding members of Hartwood, the country band.
That's right.
Yeah. So, why don't we, pardon me, I'm going to back up a little bit. So, tonight is going to be a departure on what we usually do. We're going to be talking about songwriting process predominantly through this podcast. And we're actually going to play top to bottom 4 different songs, and we're going to have a brief history on all of these songs and what it took to create them. I just thought you'd all be interested in that. I thought it would be a great way to approach the podcast differently and a little bit of variation. So anyway, Todd, please tell us about Hartwood.
Well, Brian, thanks for having me here on.
It's a pleasure having you.
On Mack-n-Cheeze here.
Hope you enjoy being had.
It's first time for me, so be gentle. And hopefully we'll be invited back at some point.
Oh yeah, well, definitely for sure.
So brief history of the band Hartwood. In the early 90s, we came up with the idea of a band to make fun of country music. And with the idea of writing good sounding country songs, but having just the most fucked up, can I say fuck on this?
Of course you can, it's a
having
podcast.
The most fucked up lyrics that we could come up with just to draw attention to how fucked up some people are. And so we wanted to present it in a with that and it's just our twisted sense of humor.
Yeah. All I can say is there's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah. So we started writing a few songs that were predominantly based around ignorant wife beaters and people who took things a little too literally in the Bible.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. We had songs like "I Only Hit You 'Cause I Love You."
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I was inappropriate. Sorry.
And ain't no restraining order stronger than our love.
I'd like that.
And so when we started actually getting some of these things recorded and thought that we're going to actually go through with this and start putting this stuff down, we did some recordings and sent some off to our local radio station, which was KCMU at the time.
Uh-huh.
They've since changed their call letters, but there was a certain host. I don't know if ethics would allow me to call them out by name or if you care about that.
I don't care about that. Yeah.
So I won't say his name. I'll give you his initials. Don Slack.
Nice initials. Yeah.
He's the host. He's the host of Swinging Doors, and we thought that would be the perfect place for us to get some local, homegrown Seattle country music on an alternative radio station because he had an alternative country show. And we sent him a demo tape. And what he sent us in return was an email that ripped us stem from stern and lambasted us about how insensitive we are and about how writing songs about domestic violence is just out of the question. He would never, ever consider playing us on his show. And obviously he didn't get the humor that we were trying to provide, because if he would listen to it a couple times, he would understand that we're writing from the perspective of the jackass, saying, hey, this is ridiculous, it's stupid, look at me, laugh at me. And that's the point, is drawing attention to it so you can bring it out of the shadows into the light. And we're the ones who are stepping into the light. But that didn't translate well with him or, a few people along the way.
Yeah, you know what? Ruffle a few feathers. Be controversial, right?
No, we ruffled a few.
So tell me about some of the gigs that you guys had done through the years.
Oh, we're just, stuff early. We've done all from playing from 2 people to playing for hundreds of people. We've done gigs as far down as California.
Wow.
And, gigs wherever you can get them.
Awesome. So the general lineup basically was with a core group of people.
We've had several lineups over the years. So when we first formed, is Russ Stefanovich and myself were the 2, so we call ourselves the Cousin Brothers.
You guys are the original founding members?
We're the original founding members.
When you guys were out in the woods and you decided to do this?
It was our idea, and we brought the thing out into the light.
Uh-huh.
So we recruited some people to start playing bass and drums. Had a guy named Billy playing bass first, and our good friend Whoopi, whose real name was Roy, playing drums. And we got some stuff together. We recorded. We hired a guy to play fiddle and pedal steel and stuff.
Nice.
But then eventually, this guy moved into the house next to me where I lived, and we got to know each other, and he was a musician. And so I invited him to practice. He came to practice and played a real nice country guitar, and we were really impressed. He was like, hey, you got to be in Hartwood, man. We could really use your guitar. But, if only you played banjo, that would be just fantastic. So he showed up the next week to practice with a banjo.
Wow.
And he said, I've just been looking for an excuse to start playing banjo. So his name is Chuck. We call him Lee Harvey. And
short?
Lee Harvey Hartwood, because as we all have a Hartwood name. I'm Merle. Russ's name is Cletus. And so Lee Harvey's been with us ever since. We eventually got another drummer named Jerry Ziegler, who's the king of Olympia.
Uh-huh.
And we've had some different bass players. Early on, Billy left and came back, and so since on our website and our narrative, his name was Enrique Hartwood. And
is he the Latin guy, Enrique?
Yeah, and so but we had him killed off in our storyline. So
that's cool.
he died in a tragic apple picking accident. And so when he came back, we had to rename him as his twin brother.
I'm sorry,
Felipe.
Felipe, yeah.
So then Felipe Hartwood came in, which is the same guy with a different name. But then he left and went to Hawaii, so we killed him off again. And so he wound up dying.
A tragic agricultural accident?
The apple picking, to be specific.
Did he fall off the ladder, or what happened?
I think it involved machinery.
Okay. Very, very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then Chris Fox came to play bass for us.
Uh-huh.
And he was Saul Hartwood, the kosher cowboy. And he unfortunately decided to actually continue his career and become a doctor of philosophy and go get a job teaching at a university.
Yeah, why would you want to do that? You could have played in Hartwood for the rest of your life.
You could have played in Hartwood for the rest of your life. So Chris's brother Matt Fox stepped right in. It was right in, and then Matt's been with us ever since then.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the core group. Me, Cletus, Jerry, who's Rufus Hartwood.
Good name.
Lee Harvey, me, and Matt, and then Jet El Jetto came in a little later on, during a period of time when I was going through some physical problems. I had to have 3 shoulder surgeries in 4 years.
Jeez. From
being an auto tech.
Oh yeah.
At the time, so I wasn't an auto shop owner at that time. I was working. And so just the toll that over the years that it took on my body.
A lot of wrenches.
So I wasn't able to really play much at that time. So we switched up our instrumentation, and Matt started playing more guitar, and then Jet came in and played bass.
Yeah, John Pagano, man, is a great bass player. Great bass player. It was an honor to play with him. He's really good. Mm-hmm. Really enjoyed that.
So that's kind of the evolution. And for a while with us, we also had a fiddle and mandolin player named Dick Murray, who we called Cousin Dick, and he was with us for several years as well.
What clubs did you guys play?
We played. Of course, we played Slims. Just trying to start naming all of them. I mean, there's clubs down in Olympia, Fourth Avenue Tavern, McCoy's down in Olympia were regular haunts. We've done gigs all over out on the peninsula. We played private parties. We played. We played a couple places up on Capitol Hill. We did an opening.
Really?
We did an opening gig we did an opening slot for a drag show.
That would have been interesting. Yeah.
We've done. We've opened up for metal bands before. We've done all kinds of stuff. I mean, basically, we'll play anywhere you want us to play.
Just invite you, you'll go.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's very awesome. A lot of the things that we'd like to discuss here is not only studio work, but as far as the evolution of songwriting. So, Todd has picked out 4 songs that we're going to talk about, and the process that was involved in writing these songs.
Mm-hmm.
And this should be very, very interesting because I do not consider myself a very good songwriter, whereas Todd's been pretty prolific in his day, which is...
Well, according to you, anyway.
Well, I don't know. What have you written? It's like 60, 70 songs?
Well, that could be true, but...
maybe more than that.
I think a prolific songwriter would actually be making money from their songs.
I know a lot of prolific songwriters who aren't making a dime off their songs.
Well, then count me in there as prolific, because I'm in that club right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so go ahead and... What would you like? Which song do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about How Was I to Know She Was Psycho?
There you go. Sounds like a subject for my personal life. Thank you very much. You wrote about me. That was very kind of you.
I like to write. I guess the thing that I learned to love about country music, and it took me back to my roots because both Russ and I, Cletus and I, both in our personal lives, we have ties to country music in our childhoods, from our families. My dad was a drummer in a bar band,
right?
So this is something that we put aside for a long time because we listened to metal and everything in the 80s and all that stuff. But after getting into it, it kind of reawakened an appreciation for country. Now, not every bit of country music is something that I like, but if you look back at the classic era of country music and Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and up to Dolly Parton and Waylon Jennings and Buck Owens, you start going down the line, and a lot of new people out now that don't get a lot of radio play are great songwriters. Tyler Childers and Sturgill Simpson right now, and so I've kept up with that kind of genre of music because I appreciate the songwriting so much.
Stories too.
It's the storytelling in country music, and the more you listen to old country music and stuff, it's really an original American art form that tells real stories that come from real people, and so. I guess I try to tap into that idea. I want to write a song that people can connect with on some level, from their personal lives, whereas a lot of rock songs are about highway to hell and shot down in flames, and we're gonna go out and party,
Yeah.
and we're gonna drink all night and shout at the devil and whatever. Not everybody can relate to that. I mean, the idea of being rebellious and party and all that's good. But I mean, when you write songs that somebody can, songs of sadness or songs that of hard work and what it takes to just make it in this world, it's everybody can go through that. Everybody can connect with that on some level. So anyway, that's a long way to go around it. But She Was Psycho stems directly from personal experiences of people in the band. Now, I'm not saying it was me, but both Russ and Jerry.
I wasn't in the band, but he wrote the song about me. I didn't even know him at that time, but yeah.
So both Russ and Jerry had experiences with particular women that pretty recently at the time that made pretty good songwriting, and so wrote this song describing these happenings that actually did happen, and I think everybody could probably relate to a relationship gone bad here in some way or another.
Right. So you took the experiences of two of the guys in the band and wrote about their experience.
Yes.
And combined it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to write a like an 8-verse song, you can start writing about everyone's experiences over the years. But these were two very good examples of men being the victims of domestic violence, which kind of twisted or put a twist.
It's
here.
real though. It is real.
But it's real. So it put a twist on some of our earlier songwriting that we were just kind of shooting from the hip on and just trying to think of what people might think was funny. And now this instead is actually true, and we think it's funny.
How was I to know she was psycho? How was I to know what I was in for? How was I to know she was psycho? In the beginning, I thought it was love like I never had. She was good in the sack, but she stabbed me in the back and she hurt me bad. She had a knife and she knew how to use it. She had a vice and Lord, she abused it. If I call 911, will they be there in time? That bitch was totally
Please send
crazy.
help quickly. She's got a knife. She's
911, the speaker, what's your emergency?
You came up with the lyrics, but as far as putting the instrumentation together and arrangement, did you do that as a band?
We do that as a band.
Okay.
I come in. Usually, I'll come in with like a loose framework of some chord changes. That'll come with the lyrics and I see it to them. But everyone else pitches in, and it helps put the finishing touches on it. So musically speaking, we usually finish off everything as a band, and we all pitch in on it.
Cool. Very, very cool. Me being a drummer, how much input does the drummer have on this stuff?
Enough. Yeah. What Jerry does a lot for us, and the way why he's such a integral part of the band is that he provides a lot of the dynamics in the song. Because if there's something in a lyric that needs to be emphasized, he'll give another little bit of a harder shot or a little rim shot to
noticed that
to emphasize a certain lyric.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you're paying attention, like a snap of a finger. It's like hey, listen to this.
So was that his recording studio that you did some of the work in, or is that somebody else?
That's somebody else.
Okay, yeah. So you got to tell everybody about the album that you did on Gary Wright's old board. You got to tell that story and how that studio came around.
Well, this song is a song that we're playing here, and most of the songs we're going to talk about tonight are on an album called Enumclaw, and that album was recorded at Evan Schiller's house, at his studio, and in his studio he has the big recording console that used to belong to Gary Wright that the famous song Dreamweaver was recorded through. Wow. And so we recorded this album through the Dreamweaver board.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We thought it was cool. and it probably weighs like 4,000 pounds.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Is it a 24-track console? Is that what it is?
I don't
probably
remember.
7 feet long.
Oh, it is. It's 7 feet if it's a foot, and it's probably 24.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't. It's been a while since I've been down there.
Mm-hmm. It's like the ultimate home studio. So you said that he built the studio around the board.
Well, that's the joke. I mean, he got to a point where they had to get the board in before they finished the walls. So to get it back out of there, I don't know how they would get it back out of there unless
tear down a wall.
Unless you got to tear down a wall. So
wow.
When the house gets sold, it'll probably get sold with that studio and with that board in it.
So the studio is still in operation then.
I haven't talked to him in a while. I mean, I can only assume. I can only assume that it is, but I haven't talked to him in a while. So. Well, why don't we talk about White Trash Burden?
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? So just a non sequitur. So my history is from North Carolina, so I kind of relate to this. I get it from the hills of North Carolina. That's where my father was born and raised. So I kind of understand that.
So White Trash Burden, I wrote. I got inspired by White Man's Burden, which is by Rudyard Kipling, right? So the idea behind that kind of gave me inspiration because at the time, so this is back in 2006 or so, and so we were in a heavy election cycle at the time. When we were there was a big GOP push to retake Congress at the time, and there was a strong, like similar to what we're seeing right now. It wasn't Make America Great Again, but I forget what the slogan was. But there was kind of a feeling like that at the time, where there was a big red state wave, and there was a big movement to take America back. So that inspired me to write the song. So it's White Trash Burden, and written from the perspective again of somebody who feels it's his duty to save to save America and do what needs to be done from that perspective. He doesn't really relate with what's going on in the cities and over on the coasts. He's a real American. He's in the country, and he's going to do what it takes to make America great. Although that's not what we were saying.
Right.
That's kind of the feeling of the song, and it just seems so weird that it has almost as much meaning right now in 2020 as it did in 2006.
Pretty ironic, right?
Very, very ironic.
Yeah, very ironic.
Yeah.
The subject of the song is this guy and his history and his environment, and it was based upon that, or could you?
Well, just kind of where he sees himself in the world,
Yeah.
I mean, so it starts out, should have stayed in school. I should have just said no. I should have wore a condom and got a job, I know. But I had a lot of fun back in my younger days. But now I got 5 mouths to feed and bills I got to pay. And it's a burden. It's a white trash burden.
Yeah, you'll hear the song, man. It'll be good. You'll enjoy it. It's great stuff.
I should have stayed in school. I should have just said no. I should have wore a condom or got a job, I know, but I had a lot of fun back in my younger days. Now I got 5 mouths to feed and bills I gotta pay. It's a burden, a white trash burden. It's a burden, a white trash burden. Rich keep getting richer, the poor just stay the same. I live on the edge of town and you don't know my name. I got a trailer on an acre, shotgun in my hand. I don't need y'all telling me this is the promised land. It's a burden, a white trash burden. It's a burden, a white trash burden. All them NASCAR fans and good old boys all throughout the land, just trying to take this country back like proud Americans. It's a burden, a white trash burden. It's a burden, a white trash burden.
Particular song you had. Banjo, pedal steel, bass, drums, acoustic guitar, and electric guitar?
Acoustic guitar and two electric guitars.
Oh, 2 electric guitars.
Right.
Did Matt Fox do both of the guitar parts, or did you actually have a 5th member?
Matt did one of the guitars, and Russ did the other guitar.
And another question to you, did you guys track these tracks live, or did you multi-track?
We multi-track for the bulk of it. We do... So typically when we record, we in this instance we're able to do the bass. The bass was in an isolation booth, and the drums were in their own room.
Okay.
And so we were able to get the bass and the drums live.
Okay.
Together, and in the control room, we were giving them a scratch guitar.
Okay.
And a scratch vocal to keep them on track and to keep the feeling of the song good.
That's really interesting because that studio is like the ultimate home studio. That's like dwarfs what I have going on here. Dwarfs. I mean, here we're just, what is this, 9 by 10? In here, 12 feet? I don't know.
Yeah, so, but I mean, it's cram-packed full of nice stuff, so...
Yeah, I do all right. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, working off an analog board like that would just be amazing, man. That's a dream come true for me. So that's basically the main thing you did for most of these songs was you would run the bass and the drums, scratch track with them. Really important to get that live rhythm section feel. It really is.
Right, because so much of our stuff has a live feel to it.
It does.
Because I mean, we really are a live band. I mean, that's we really love playing live, but playing, getting the audience feedback involved, and that's what makes it fun. But a lot of the emphasis or a lot of the dynamics does cue off of the vocals, and so we all agree that it's important that the vocals are in there at least as a scratch at the beginning, so we can mimic that.
Yeah. For me, I totally concur with that. I prefer to do live rhythm section with bass, guitar, and drums, all three of those, just as a foundation to set it up. You can multi-track on over the top of that, but to get that live feel, I mean, multi-tracking's one thing, but there's two approaches to that. You can multi-track and make the process super precise and arduous because I mean, there's a lot of editing that goes along with that. Or you can have the rhythm section come in and do the multiple takes and just keep doing it until you got the feel. And when you got the feel, man, it with the inaccuracies included, which is it's just so it feels like there's something happening instead of being dead.
Well, I mean, I can't say for sure that some of the guitar parts that are in there weren't the original scratch tracks.
Okay,
I mean, they might have been good enough to keep.
Yeah, right.
But I don't have track notes, handy on those to say, hey, this actually sounded good enough. We're just going to keep that. I mean, that probably happened, here and there.
Yeah, right on. So the next song.
It's also on this album. It's called Enumclaw. So it's the title track of the album, and anybody who lives around here may have forgotten by now, but you should know what happened in Enumclaw several years ago.
Yeah,
and I couldn't help but write about that.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Again, based on a true event. Now it didn't involve me or it didn't involve anybody in the band.
Yeah, but
I'll be damned if we're not going to write about it.
Yeah.
And it becomes our most requested song. And so I mean it's really kind of from that point on, it kind of everybody wanted to hear Enumclaw at every show.
That same group was busted again up in Bellingham.
I know.
Yeah.
So I wrote a sequel.
You did. Well, I mean,
which is recorded. It's not out. We have a fourth album completely in the can that that is not. It's not available for public consumption.
Well, come on now with no hesitation. Follow me out past the reservation to Enumclaw. 'Cause there's a farm down there that I know. The price is fair and the guys all go down to Enumclaw. Well, down in Enumclaw where a man could be a mayor and a cowboy and his horse can be more than friends. I don't want no law down in Enumclaw against lovers with tails on their ends. And love is what I got down in Enumclaw. Rita wants to get their paws on me, 'cause there's a little filly there making eyes you see down in Enumclaw. And there's pillow talk with the livestock there. I love to feel your hooves running through my hair down in Enumclaw. Now they're trying to take my Wednesday nights from me, 'cause the media told the Humane Society it ain't no crime to have a good time with bestiality. And good times what I have down in Enumclaw. Lesson in this song that must be learned. You gotta watch your step when you're running with the herd, 'cause there's a price to pay for a roll in the hay, 'cause love can turn you inside out. And you know what I'm talking about. In the barn you can let it hang out. You might even wanna shout down in Enumclaw.
I think it felt something.
Okay, yeah, but are you
Hopefully someday.
Yeah, you're
Hopefully
planning on
someday
releasing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a follow up to Enumclaw based on the fact that they came back and they got busted again. So
Yeah,
I had to write another song, and it's called Highway 410.
You can't see me, but I'm shaking my head, man. Just unbelievable. This stuff that human beings think they can get away with.
So of course in Enumclaw, from the perspective that I got to write it from is from the perspective of the guy who doesn't see anything wrong with what he's doing. I don't understand why everybody's so upset.
Because they think you're serious. That's why they're upset. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When in fact, you're not serious.
Well, it's again, it's looking at the ridiculousness of it, and
Right.
so I write it. I try to write it from the perspective of the person who
Doesn't get it.
who doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you can look at that person. You can look at me if I become that person on stage, and you want to laugh. You can laugh at me.
Yeah.
Because you won't believe what I'm saying.
Right.
Or
Right.
you won't believe that I think it's true, which in reality I don't.
Right.
But the songwriting has to be that way, because that's where the humor. I mean, we're all about humor in this band.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. So before we go on to the next song, you have taken improv classes.
I have.
Yeah.
I have, yes.
And so what was your decision involved with when you started that process?
When I decided to start taking classes,
Yeah.
well, I've been to improv shows, and they said, hey, if you want to do this, why don't you sign up for a class? And I said, hey, that sounds like a good idea. So I looked into it, and I thought, because at one point in my distant past, I thought my future would be as a stand-up comedian, because when I was 12, I wanted to be a stand-up. Of course, that never happened, but Hartwood gives me a chance to kind of live that out a little bit.
I've seen your delivery. I get it. I just want to say that Todd is one of the best showmen I've ever worked with. I know you're laughing, but seriously, man, I look back at some of the videos that we took, and I was just like going, "This is funny."
Well, if I get a chance to make somebody laugh, I'm going to take it.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But I looked into it, and I thought, in my mind, hey, if I take an improv class, it might make me better. It might make me a better songwriter. It might make me better on stage. It might give me, and since I've been doing, I do more public speaking now as part of the ASA, and I speak to groups. I'll give reports to a group, and I'll talk to a large group. I thought it would help me with that. And so I said, hey, this is going to maybe just improve my skills. And so I started taking the classes, and I wound up taking them for over 2.5 years.
Wow, yeah.
and I went through a bunch of advanced level classes. I've been on the improv stage, many times now. And what I found is that it gave me way more. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, and it gave me way more perspective than I ever thought I was going to get. It's actually if anybody's interested in adding that to their lives, I would encourage it.
So I mean, you had to really step out of your comfort zone to do this.
Oh, you completely have to step out of your comfort. You have to be completely trusting and willing to trust the other people around you, and you know that you're safe, and know that you're not going to be judged, which is a nice place to be.
I've seen some improv, and it can go pretty south.
It can go bad in a hurry, and we all know that. And when it does, you just got to roll with it because there's no stop. There's no stop and do over. You just got to roll with it and just know that it's bad.
Oh yeah, and sometimes you'll be hated for it by the audience, right?
You might.
Yeah.
You might.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's some basic.
Thank you. I was going to ask you, can we
philosophies
discuss that process
in it, which is it's about acceptance, really, at its core, because the idea is that you have to accept the fact that you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what is going to come out of this person's mouth next, and you have to be ready to respond to that. So you don't have time to dwell on the past. And so all the exercises and training goes to get it out of yourself and forget about the past.
And are you just completely in the present?
You have to be in the present.
Yeah.
And that's what it trains you to do, which actually I found is it carries over into my regular everyday life. It's given me skills that I can use outside of improv to let things go. Because you just got to accept that you can't change the past. Say you're in a skit and say you got this idea. Say, oh, I've got a great idea. I'm going to come out there and I'm going to say that I'm a unicorn, right? And you walk on their stage and someone says, oh, look, here comes the donkey. You can't say, no, I'm not a donkey. I'm a unicorn. No, that's not how it works. You say, yes, I'm a donkey. And so you have to accept that and then move on. You can't have anything preconceived. You can't think about what if or what could have happened. You need to just move ahead, and that's a nice place to be in mentally in your everyday life because things get thrown at you in your everyday life that you have no control over. Just accept it. You don't have control over it, but you can deal with what comes next.
When you started this process, did you think you were going to be able to grab things out of the air like you're doing now?
No, I didn't know what to expect. But having been through it and having learned what the real purpose behind it is, so what I thought was really interesting is that improv, the whole improv idea, started off during the Great Depression and I don't remember her name. She wrote a book about it, and I should know everyone involved. But
yeah.
So she was a psychologist, and so she developed the idea of improv to help kids who were in the throes of the Depression because they didn't know how to deal with it mentally. I mean, the Depression was some serious shit.
Oh yeah. And
kids were in a bad place. I mean, they didn't know, they had no hope,
right?
And so she developed improv and all these games and this idea and this ideology to help them mentally cope with reality, what was going on at the time. Eventually, it got morphed into becoming an entertainment venue, and most people think improv is just comedy. It's just that's comedy. Improv is comedy. Period. That's not true.
See, that was my misconception.
A lot of the time, it's funny, and it's really good when it's funny, and most people like improv that's funny. And so then that's one reason why I got into it too, is it'll help me be funny. But reality is, it's not always funny, and it doesn't have to be funny. It can be serious, but it's usually more fun when it's funny.
So, kind of a non sequitur. So, do you know Andrew Shields? I mean, this is interesting that you would be involved with improv. He's a keyboardist, improv guy, super intelligent, very, very funny. And he was involved with the improv group over in West Seattle.
I don't know that.
I don't know if you're out there, Andrew, but hi if you are.
And if I have met you,
great to play with you again, by the way.
If I have met you, Andrew, hello,
peace. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I've taken a musical improv class and a hip hop. They actually had a hip hop improv class.
So that's interesting. We got a country western guy who is into hip hop. Actually, your background is hugely diverse, hugely diverse. So, what are the styles of music that you have embraced through the decades?
Oh man, I mean, if you look through my collection, I'm equally as comfortable popping in a CD. From Public Enemy or NWA or Ice-T or Ice Cube or any of those guys, as I am, popping in some classic Hank Williams. At the moment. Beach Boys, Jan and Dean.
Wow. Yeah.
Van Halen, R.I.P. Eddie. We just lost him. It was I was the biggest Van Halen fan back at the time. Back when I was 14, 15 years old, I was a huge Van Halen fan.
Oh, dude, yeah, I saw Van Halen in 1983 with my ex-wife. You wrote a song about her.
How was I to know?
How are you to know? Yeah,
I didn't know. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny too.
Right.
Not at the time, but yeah.
No, but Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Metallica and other stuff. But
so your father was a drummer, right? Was he a jazz drummer? Is that what he did?
He loved jazz. Yeah. So he loved jazz. But when his band would come over to the house and practice, I mean, most of the stuff they practiced were stuff that they go play in the bar, like Doobie Brothers and Chicago and that kind of stuff was what I would hear them practice. But he was a big jazz fan, and I didn't know this. I didn't know this until he died, and I was going through his stuff because they never talked about. My parents got divorced when I was about 10, but neither of them talked about it to me at all until I was going through, and I found a newspaper clipping about a jazz club that he opened on Ambaum in Burien back in the mid '60s before I was born, and I had no idea. I had to read about it in this newspaper clipping that was in a box of his stuff, and so I don't know how long it lasted, but he tried anyway.
How did a jazz club in Burien go over in the '60s? That's interesting.
Well, I would love to tell you, but probably obviously not very well because he went back to selling auto parts.
Yeah. Oh, that where you discovered your passion for automobiles was from your father?
Well, I mean, he wasn't much of a mechanic, but he worked at auto parts. He would manage auto parts stores, and so I would go hang out there, and I would look at auto parts, and so he would bring me socket sets home to play with, instead of toys, and he'd bring me hooker headers. All the stickers I had when I was a kid were all Holly carbs and hooker headers and thrush mufflers, and so I already had all these hot rod stickers on my dresser when I was 5 and 6, and so I would play with socket sets, I would play with tools, and then I started taking stuff apart. I had my first real new bicycle I got when I was 6. They were so proud to have bought me a brand new bicycle, and within 3 days I had it completely torn apart in the in the garage, and then I did my first set of spark plugs when I was 10, and I guess that's just what I've always liked, taking stuff apart. So
Yeah.
whether it was inspired by that or he just helped it along, I don't know. But
Well, the fact that you were living and breathing music and cars simultaneously is very, very cool.
Yeah.
No wonder you liked it, Jan and Dean.
and oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
I was all about that. And the fact that he also played horn too. So that was
really?
his the flugelhorn was his favorite horn.
Whoa, was he classically trained as well?
No. I mean, he played in the Navy band.
Oh, okay.
When he was in the Navy, and then actually, when he got out of the Navy, before he married my mom, he auditioned to be on the Lawrence Welk Show.
Ooh, he was heavyweight, man.
But he didn't get the gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because he had horns and they have these moving parts and they have valves, I started taking apart the horns. So I take the valves and the buttons out of the horn, take the trombone apart. I had to take that thing
Replace
apart.
the felt.
And he would be fucking pissed when he got home because I had these things apart. Yeah.
That's really funny, man. That's really, really funny. So you had actually attended a bunch of shows back in the 90s of different artists that would come into the city.
Oh man, it was something. It was there was always something going on. It was just action all the time. You go so back in those days, you could go down to Pioneer Square and you could pay a joint cover fee.
Right.
And get into the Central and Larry's and Doc Maynard's and all. There's like five or six of them, but not the J&M. The J&M wasn't part of that joint cover, and they didn't have live music in it anyway at that time. Mm-hmm. They eventually did, but they didn't then. But all those places had different like the the Central was going to have whatever was going on in the grunge scene and rock and hard rock and metal and stuff would we be playing there. But then if you wanted to walk just a few doors down and go to Larry's, there was blues going on.
Always, almost always at
Right.
Larry's,
And then you could go across the street and go to the New Orleans.
Jazz.
And there was it was going on all the time. And so you had this diversity that you could just hang out and Pioneer, and people were hanging out all the time. And the off-ramp was, so much great stuff going on there, and Rock Candy.
Yeah.
I love that. I miss that place a lot. I saw King Zex in there.
Really?
I saw Dred Zeppelin, which was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ice-T in there.
Yeah.
Body Count.
Yeah.
Sweaty Nipples. Just tons of local bands, and it was great.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that last song.
Last song is "I Did the Right Thing," and so this is on an earlier album. This is on an album called "Working on Tomorrow's Hangover Today." And so I Did the Right Thing is another storytelling song. And I stand behind it still. I'm still pretty proud of this one. It's a storytelling song about a guy who got his girlfriend knocked up when he was young, did the right thing and married her, and gave up his dreams of being a race car driver, and just wound up being unhappy and wound up being divorced, and by the end of the song, he's sitting around just watching the races on TV instead, just knowing that his life could have been different had he made a different choice.
I could have been a contender.
I could have been somebody.
Could have been somebody. Could have been a contender.
That's right. Channel your inner Brando there.
I did the right thing. I made her an honest woman. Her daddy had a shotgun, and there went my dream. I did the right thing. I saved her reputation before she was showing the wedding bells ring. Way back in high school, I drove the stock class. I was headed down south to be in NASCAR one day. It was my buy the cow if you can get the milk for free.
Now that we're back from the song, what are some of your personal philosophies is in regards to music? I mean, you've discussed a little bit of it tonight.
Yeah.
What goes into your innermost core?
Just music in general, or how
Whatever, however you see fit to define yourself.
Well, I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, music itself is such a vital part of the human existence that I don't think a lot of us even realize how important it is. And we can say that I like this band, I like that band, I like this type of music, I don't like that type of music. But the fact is no matter what your personal preferences are, music is there. I don't think we could live without it. And I think going back probably to the earliest Stone Age people were banging bones and sticks together in some sort of rhythm.
The original rock band.
The original rock band actually using rocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as a cultural storytelling device, where cultural importance is placed in songs, and songs can be passed down even if you didn't have a lot of written traditions that pass down. You know, we don't have a lot of written stuff from a lot of cultures, but their cultural story gets passed down through the generations through traditional songs, and that all the way up into folk songs and country specific. Wherever you are in Europe, they have folk songs. Folk songs carried over here when people immigrated here, and they carried them over, and that became country music. And music ties us all together one way or another. We can have a shared experience via music, in that you and I could go to the same concert together and watch the same show, and then from that point on we can say, oh, remember when we saw that awesome show? Maybe we'll hear a song that was played at that concert and we'll think of that concert. It's like, oh, and I was with Brian.
Right.
Because we had that shared experience. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's on a larger scale, like you and 100,000 of your closest friends were at this huge show, and you can all relate to that experience because you all remember it. But what if there was one song that means something particular to you because it echoes a moment in your life, because something significant happened in your life and you associate that with the song? Maybe somebody else has a different experience with that same song. And so you're connected in that song gives you and this other person a personal experience, although your experience isn't the same.
Right.
I mean, that's getting kind of deep and philosophical.
No, I totally agree with you on that. Because you shared an experience with someone doesn't mean that you actually walking away from that experience with the exact same thoughts and the exact same perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, because we all have those things. I mean, if you think, just sit there, just think back through your life, think about some super happy moments or some significant things, and there's probably some music associated with it.
Yeah. I
mean, that we play wedding songs, right? When people get married and they meet each other, the love of their life, they have their song.
Yeah.
They have a song. They play a song at your graduation.
Yeah.
They play songs. We've heard the national anthem over, and what do you feel? What do you feel when you hear that? There's songs that you may have heard when maybe the first time you got laid, that you're playing some Barry White. Maybe whenever you hear that song.
That was a great show, by the way.
That was a great show.
That was a great show. Oh my God!
Short. It was pretty short, but it was a great show.
Well, I saw him warm up for Earth, Wind and Fire. Like, I don't know, it was a while ago, and even at 380 pounds, man, the women were lining up, man. He gave everyone a sparkling glass of wine and a rose. Every single one of those women that come up. It's like the great smoothie. I mean, the very great smoothie. But that was pretty amazing, man. He actually had it kind of done in a Philadelphia style of R&B, because he had a string orchestra behind him, and it was just I couldn't believe it. I mean, I didn't think I was going to like the show, and I was like, this is blow away.
Hey, baby.
And there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I think he died.
Oh, you know what I like.
Yeah, I was. I think he passed pretty quickly after that, man. But that was pretty amazing. Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, yeah. My wedding, it was sunrise, sunset was the song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mostly sunset at that point. Yeah, it was all downhill after that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I don't know. I mean, if you let me sit here, we just talk all night. But I think we've probably got enough here.
Yeah, we covered a lot tonight. We'll just have you back sometime and we'll do it again.
I would be more than happy to do that. Thank you for having me again.
Oh yeah, Todd Ainsworth, aka Merle Hartwood. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Brian and Mack-n-Cheeze out.
Listen to Mack-n-Cheeze.
Thank you. Need the plug. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I thought it was great. Want more Mack-n-Cheeze? www.mackncheeze.com or catch my weekly blog at mackncheezemusic.blog or Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze on YouTube. Bruno and I really appreciate comments and suggestions, and you know where to find us. Take us out of here, brother.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, please subscribe to Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze on YouTube. Just press that subscribe button and you'll never miss another episode. Hey, and you got that going for you, right? All right, cheers, have a great day.